Evening, and thank you for joining us this evening. We'll call this 61st regular session to order. I am going to give the invocation, then we'll do the pledge and the flag. If you would please stand and join us. Dear Lord, as we close the chapter on another year, let us face the challenges we encounter in 2019 with a unified voice, with determination, perseverance, and as always, with the betterment of our citizens and our future citizens at heart. Let us fight the good fight as we continue to tackle the challenges that hold back our progress. Let us never settle for the sake of settling, and fill us with your grace as we push forward. Keep those who won't have the pleasure of spending the holidays with their family in your care, and as always, bless those who fight for our rights and freedom every day. We ask that you bless our great city, our citizens, and the United States of America. We ask these things in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Quick announcements. We'll be following the rules of procedure that were adopted on December 20th, 2016. If you have a cell phone, please mute it. All correspondence or distribution to elected officials should be provided to the city administrator this evening and should include a copy for the city clerk for inclusion in the official record. The meeting schedules for January: there is no meeting on January 1st. On January 8th, 15th, and the 22nd are work sessions at 4 p.m. And Tuesday, January 29th is a regular session at 7 p.m. It is my great honor to be able to announce our guest for this evening. Don F. Munson, please come forward. You can have your lovely bride and your daughter with you. All right, for those out there in TV land who may be too young to remember, but Don first came on the scenes in local politics in 1974. He was elected as our delegate in the city of Hagerstown. He then moved on and became a state senator in 1991 and served with distinction until 2010. And then, not ready to give up politics just yet, in 2012 he ran for city council and won a seat on the council. Then ran again in 2016, was reelected. Now I have this great big long thing, a special recognition for you. I'm not going to waste your time because I know your time's more valuable reading it all. I just covered the major points of it just now. Tonight's more about your service to the citizens of Hagerstown and those in Washington County and all over the state of Maryland. I mean, as a senator, you did great things locally. You were there is no one that I can compare you to when it came to taking care of your citizens. I mean, you were a great constituent servant, and you always amazed me that you seemed to be everywhere. You know, had you been able back in 1974 to have a cell phone, be able to take pictures, I'm sure you would have invented the selfie back then, and you would definitely outdo Jeff Klein today and Emily Keller. But we have this thing here for you. It's your name plaque. We're going to give that to you. But what I want to give you, and you definitely deserve it, for all your years, is the key to the city of Hagerstown. I want you to know that you are always welcome here. Yes, they do. You are always welcome here anytime. And whenever you need anything, you got my cell phone, just give me a quick call, okay? And I want you to have a fantastic Christmas. You want to say a couple words? Yes.
This is a great and unexpected occasion. And I'd just like to say thank you for everybody who was involved in making it happen. It's really nice to get some recognition for what you do, particularly when you're still alive in politics. George, that didn't exactly happen to George Washington, but a little later, after he was gone, it did. I just want to say this. Government is a calling. And after a while, I think most of you would agree, when you're in it for a while, it's an addiction. You make up your mind you're going to do the job, and you're going to do the job well. And you get more of a job and more of a job and greater and harder decisions to make. And I served with some of you, and I know that you always did your best to make Hagerstown a better place. And I appreciate that, particularly as a resident of Hagerstown. While I was working in government, I had the opportunity to work with some of the finest people who ever lived. That includes the state and the county and the local governments, people who were dedicated far beyond words and far beyond their pay level, particularly true of the city. And I have had wonderful years, and many good things happened to me personally, and I'll never forget them. And Mayor, I'd like to thank you. This is a real honor. It's incredible, and I didn't know what to look forward to. Donna called me and said, "You need to be in here tonight." And I have my wife back there, Sue, and my daughter, Xanthi, and thank you very much. This is a wonderful evening, a wonderful occasion.
Again, very well deserved. Can we get you guys to come up and get a picture of you both? You guys want to come down?
If you want us to.
Let's get one of me. Eric, let's get one of me. Okay.
You always send a picture. Gotta go.
Guys, come on in, let's get a picture. I know it's hard to keep up with you, just have to be here. Don't you guys come on down here?
Okay.
And this guy will stand.
Yeah.
My name is Lou.
Wait, pardon me?
So you can
What do you want us to do? Be on this side?
Yeah,
Okay. Would you mind?
there we go.
There.
Okay, here we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. One more. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, got it.
Sue, okay, come on up, Eric, get adult pictures. Let the family have color. Here you go.
Here we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, good smiles, and then 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Make sure he takes that.
We lost Kristen.
Oh.
That happened. We got 3. All right, no one has signed up for citizen comments, but is there anybody out there who wishes to make comments? Please step to the microphone and give us your name and address. Okay, city administrator's comments?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to thank the department heads and city employees for their hard work and dedication throughout 2018, and just wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. Can't believe it's going to be 2019. Hard to believe. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Shelley?
I just want to say thank you. It seems kind of ironic that tonight I was sworn in a year ago, and you get to be honored, Mr. Munson, this evening. So I hope to be able to follow in your footsteps. I think that you are a tremendous asset to the city of Hagerstown, and I can only hope that my public service is reflective of yours. So I also want to thank staff for making my year much easier than I anticipated. City staff is amazing and wonderful with every question that I have, my curiosity and naivete and general lack of knowledge. But the year has been great, and I sincerely appreciate all of the support that I've had. And I too want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And 2019 is really hard to believe. You're right. That's it.
Hey, Dawn, thank you for being here tonight, and I agree with everything that's been said about you so far. I will always appreciate the conversation you had with me after I won the election before I was sworn in, and you said, I'm going to tell you everything I wish they would have told me when I was 30 entering politics, and I keep a lot of that in my mind as I make decisions. I appreciate that. And a few months after that, I got to be a guest on the Senate floor, and when I was leaving, they were introducing me as a person from Hagerstown. And everyone that had worked with you said you had always been Hagerstown's biggest cheerleader. So hopefully one day we'll be able to fill those shoes too. We appreciate your dedication to our town. Thank you. And everyone's all positive, so I'm
And leave it like that. Leave it on a positive note. That's
Merry-
good. We'll
Merry
start the new year off that way too. Austin?
Don, my congratulations and thank you for your service. You've been somebody I've watched since I moved to Hagerstown, and I have learned from you, and I definitely appreciate everything you've done for the city. Merry Christmas to everybody, and see you next year.
Kristen?
Just want to first echo the comments of the city administrator and fellow members of council in regard to staff. It's never, an easy year in government. I know you guys work very hard. We appreciate it. We appreciate all of the direction that you take and the initiatives that we try and put out there and the things you bring to us. The second thing that I'd like to say to Senator Munson, he probably doesn't recall this, but before I went to college, I was fortunate enough to be able to be invited down to Senator Munson's office, which was sort of a little hole-in-the-wall office down near the old YMCA. And, I go in this room, and it's got the old wood paneling, and he's got sort of a back office, and it's crammed with a small desk and papers everywhere. And I'm thinking to myself, if this is politics, is not the rich regalia that everyone makes it out to be. I went in and had a meeting with you, and I didn't know at all what I wanted to do with life at that point, whether I'd even make it through college, let alone be sitting in this position today and have the opportunity to serve with you for some time. But you offered me a small senatorial scholarship to first attend college, and one of the things you said to me was, look, I'm going to give you this, but you have to do one thing. You have to register to vote. I don't care what party you pick. I don't care if you pick a party, but you got to register to vote. You got to be engaged in the process in order to understand the value of this. And so that's how I remember you, and I appreciate your service.
All right. Don Munson and I go way back, and we we lost a mutual friend years ago, way too early, who I was lucky enough to have in my life, and I know Don was in his. And we became well-known to each other through that mutual friend. We didn't always see eye to eye, but we always made sure that whatever we did, it was for the betterment of the city of Hagerstown and Washington County. And Don, you will never be replaced by anybody who can do the job that you did for so long. Again, much respect, much love, and well wishes forever in the future. So thank you for your service. Two quick housekeeping things real fast here. Number one, next week's trash pickup, Monday night, is regularly Monday night. The rest of the week, there'll be no trash pickup Tuesday night, and the rest of the week will be off a day. So if you're like me, you put your trash out Tuesday night for Wednesday morning, put your trash out Wednesday night for Thursday morning instead. The Christmas tree pickup, there's a schedule online. You can check it out. And next week is the last week for yard waste until February. So if you have leaves you want to get rid of, don't be like me. Don't wait. Have them sit around for 3 months, getting extremely heavy. Put them out, get rid of them. Also, I want to say something about staff also, since it's been said tonight. I'm not the easiest person in the world to get along with, and I know that's hard to believe, but and I know sometimes staff gets frustrated with me, and I'm lucky enough to know that they do a great job, and I've seen it even when they get frustrated with me. They still do a great job, and they do what is in the best interest for the city of Hagerstown. And whenever I make a phone call to somebody, it gets answered immediately, and if it's something that they can handle right away, and it's easy and small and simple, it gets done right away. I don't ever have to worry about calling back. I see that we finally got some paving going on up at Burhan's and Antietam, thank God. But I'll tell you, I don't know how I didn't ruin a couple tires up there. But anyway, my hat's off to staff, and I know that 2019 is going to be a great year. Things are going to get busy, with all the projects that are happening around the city of Hagerstown. So Merry Christmas to everybody, and Happy New Year, because I won't see you again until New Year. So, moving on. The adoption of the minutes, please.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for the approval of the minutes as presented for the mayor and council meetings held on November 6, 2018, November 13, 2018, November 20th, 2018, and November 27, 2018.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move that all the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I should say that Lieu is not with us this evening. He sends his regrets. Unfinished business, approval of an ordinance entering into an agreement for the provision of sanitary sewer between the city of Hagerstown and the town of Funkstown, Maryland.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move the mayor and city council approve an ordinance entering into the agreement for the provision of sanitary sewer between the city of Hagerstown and the town of Funkstown, Maryland. The reference parcel is within the corporate boundaries of the town of Funkstown and identified as being all of Liber 1246 Folio 983 containing 44.11 acres.
Second.
Discussion.
Just a brief comment. I was on my way home this evening, and I happened to notice on the internet the Southern Boulevard is now open, and as I was coming home, saw my first car actually take that left around the circle and head across it. Just want to thank the Board of County Commissioners. I know I was there at the time when that was still sort of part of the 33-year discussion of it happening, and just want to congratulate them for that progress.
Now all we got to do is connect Edgewood across the Antietam.
Right.
Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of an ordinance authorizing acceptance of deed in lieu of foreclosure for 117 South Locust Street.
Mr. Mayor, I would move from Mayor and City Council to approve an ordinance authorizing the acceptance of a deed in lieu of foreclosure for the property located at 117 South Locust Street. This property was acquired and sold by the city through the CDBG Home Ownership Program, and the city remains the primary mortgage holder after providing home buyer financing to the current owner. The current owner has vacated the property with a remaining balance on the mortgage note and has asked the city to accept the property in lieu of foreclosure. All deed in lieu of foreclosure documents for the property are attached.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of an ordinance authorizing the sale of 441 North Jonathan Street.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for the mayor and city council to approve an ordinance authorizing the sale of city-owned property located at 441 North Jonathan Street to the Hagerstown Revitalization Corporation, HRC, for the sum of $1. The HRC, a subsidiary of the Housing Authority of the City of Hagerstown, will carry out additional renovation activities to revitalize the property with the eventual goal of homeownership occupancy. The sale will be in accordance with all terms and conditions outlined in the attached purchase agreement.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of an ordinance authorizing the sale of property located at 443 North Jonathan Street.
Mr. Mayor, I move for Mayor and City Council to approve an ordinance authorizing the sale of city-owned property located at 443 North Jonathan Street to the Hagerstown Revitalization Corporation for the sum of $1. The HRC, a subsidiary of the Housing Authority of the City of Hagerstown, will carry out additional renovation activities to revitalize the property with the eventual goal of homeownership occupancy. The sale will be in accordance with all terms and conditions outlined in the attached purchase agreement.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of an ordinance authorizing the sale of property located at 212 to 214 North Jonathan Street.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for mayor and city council to approve an ordinance authorizing the sale of city-owned property located at 212 to 214 North Jonathan Street to the Hagerstown Revitalization Corporation, HRC, for the sum of $1. The HRC, a subsidiary of the Housing Authority of the City of Hagerstown, will carry out additional renovation activities to revitalize the property with the eventual goal of homeownership occupancy. The sale will be in accordance with all terms and conditions outlined in the attached purchase agreement.
Second.
Discussion?
Just a quick note, I just want to thank the Hagerstown Housing Authority. This was an idea that was sort of hatched about 6 or 8 months ago, whereby it's an experiment, frankly. These are a number of properties that the city owns that have not been occupied, whereby they'll be transferred to the Housing Authority, who has access to state and federal funding sources to basically take these properties and fix them up and transfer them into private home ownership and within the community. Again, it's an experiment that I hope works out well, and in doing so, I hope that one of the first tasks that we have of 2019 is to communicate with the Board of County Commissioners, the newly elected body, and discuss any number of these vacant properties that the city doesn't own, which are in private ownership, banks and estates and things like that that have been sitting vacant themselves for months and years in some cases, and are able to transfer those out of tax lien into a program like this to make them ready and available through those funding sources that the Housing Authority has to then put them into private home ownership again.
Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Quick claim, portion of Alley 5-35.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for the approval of an ordinance to convey a portion of alley number 5-35 to Eklund Family LLC as it is no longer needed for public purpose. The city shall retain an easement across this land for the purpose of maintaining existing lines and facilities of the Hagerstown Light Department.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Quick claim portion of Alley 5-35.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for the approval of an ordinance to convey a portion of alley number 5-35 to Michael J. Hill, as it is no longer needed for a public purpose. The city shall retain an easement across this land for the purpose of maintaining existing lines and facilities of the Hagerstown Light Department.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Approval of resolution amendment to the lease agreement for the City of Hagerstown property located at 11850 Indian Lane, Hagerstown, Maryland.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move that the mayor and city council approve the attached resolution authorizing the amendment of a lease agreement at the City of Hagerstown property located at 11850 Indian Lane in Hagerstown, Maryland. The amendment will increase the maximum number of individuals permitted to reside at the premises for the remainder of the lease term.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of resolution to establish a youth advisory council.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for approval of a resolution to establish a Hagerstown Youth Advisory Council ad hoc committee. The goal of the council is to facilitate communication and participation by city youth regarding city government's decision-making and planning.
Second.
Discussion.
I just want to say that it's kind of, so it's 1 year in office, it's Don Munson's celebration, and I have introduced this resolution, so it's a good day, I think.
And you just came back from
And I just got
vacation.
back from vacation, so, and this is the last council meeting of the year. I mean, this is awesome.
Stars are all aligned. Yeah.
Yep, it's a good day.
Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Resolution revising parking facility rates and fees.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for mayor and council approval of a resolution approving specific revisions to the schedule of parking facilities, rates, and fees effective January 1, 2019, or as herein noted per the schedule. Any rate not specifically addressed in the attached resolution will be as approved in Resolution R-18-27 passed on June 26, 2018.
I'd like to move to table.
If we don't get a second on the original motion and we don't get a second on the table, then we'll have to, then it just dies,
The item dies.
unfortunately.
Yes.
So, on the original motion, do I have a second? On the motion to table,
Second.
discussion?
I am moving to table for the purposes of further discussion. There are obviously a number of ideas that I put forth that I would like to vet among the council in order to reach a decision on this matter based on fiscal evaluation, frankly, rather than political expediency, that I think may serve to benefit all parties to the degree that we are able to reasonably resolve the concerns that have been raised over the months that we've been discussing this.
Anybody else on discussion on the motion to table?
One of the things that was mentioned in the invocation, that we should never settle for the sake of settling. And I think that there have been proposals that have been put forth and discussions that have taken place that we have not been privy to. And I feel as if tabling the discussion is the appropriate measure.
I agree with that, and I stand by what I said in my email. I feel like this was handled not just horribly, to be honest, and I feel like you have to treat every citizen equal, and just because certain parties come to the table and other parties do not, it can't weigh in our decisions, and I think that this has been a political mess. And so I agree we need to go back to square one and figure out an actual resolution and not just continue pushing this down the road, because that's what this motion that was proposed today just makes it harder on us next year or the future administration, and I don't think that's the proper way to handle business.
Anybody else? All in favor of tabling it?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to table. Make sure we have this on a work session for January 8th, please. Approval of an ordinance, approval of resolution, addendum purchase agreement for sale of 17 and 25 East Franklin.
Ms.
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead.
I hereby move for the mayor and city council to approve a resolution authorizing an addendum to the purchase agreement for the sale of property located at 17-25 East Franklin Street. The city-owned property is currently under contract to be sold to WLR Holding Company, Inc. The addendum will extend the settlement deadline date from January 15, 2019 to March 1st, 2019.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of application for fiscal year 2020 program open space projects.
Mr. Mayor, I move for mayor and council approval of an application to Washington County requesting FY 2020 program open space development funding of improvements to the city's recreational facilities. POS share listed as follows: City Park lighting improvements and beautification, $63,000. Potterfield pool, replace pool. White Coat Phase 2, $81,000. City Park hedge replacement with fence, $117,000. I further move to request $50,000 in POS land acquisition funds for purchase of real property as part of the cultural trail.
Second.
Give that to Emily. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of joint use agreement with Washington County and the Maryland Department of Natural Resources.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move to approve agreement between the City of Hagerstown, Washington County, and the Maryland Department of Natural Resources. This agreement allows the city to obtain $300,000 in open space funds for the urban improvement project.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of agreement with Potomac Valley Audubon Society and Alyssa Himes.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move to approve an agreement with Potomac Valley Audubon Society and Alyssa Imes to accept a carbon fiber sculpture of a monarch butterfly. The sculpture will be installed in Kiwanis Park in the spring of 2019.
Second.
Discussion?
Just like to thank staff and the society for recognizing the city of Hagerstown as an appropriate place to expand our art footprint.
Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Lease amendment to the residential lease agreement at 570 Jefferson Street.
Mr. Mayor, I have a move for approval of resolution authorizing the amendment to the residential lease agreement at 570 Jefferson Street. Gerald Bernisel is the current tenant and desires to add other individual tenants to the lease. I apologize if I butchered the last name.
Second.
Give Edwin a show. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of Partners in Economic Progress Program benefits to tailor-made cuts.
Mr. Mayor, hereby move for mayor and city council's direction of the administration of the Partners in Economic Progress rent relief benefits to tailor-made cuts at 22 North Mulberry Street to begin January 1, 2019, and contingent upon a lease commitment by the business from January 1, 19 to December 31st, 22.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And approval of an amendment to the promissory note for repayment of funds.
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval of an amendment to promissory note with Hagerstown Mezzanine Project LLC to provide amendment to payment schedule set forth in the promissory note entered into on March 27, 2018, which provides the terms for the repayment of city funds used to demolish the structure located at 149 West Washington Street. The property is owned by Hagerstown Mezzanine Project LLC.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, we're adjourned.